Good morning. This is Sifela Johnson, and welcome to day 4 of the Breakthrough Workout. So today what we are going to discuss is hydration. And this may seem like such a simple thing, but actually hydration is extraordinarily important in peak performance. And I think it's something that we hear all the time, but many people just simply overlook it or don't focus on it with awareness. So as part of my system for extraordinary peak performance breakthroughs, what I follow is simply making sure that I not only have enough hydration, which to me, because I'm very physically active, that is 100 ounces of high quality liquid, not liquid that will dehydrate you, but also it's the timing of the hydration. So many people recommend 64 ounces, and I think that is the absolute minimum, even if you aren't that physically active, to actually make sure that your body can function correctly and that you're able to think clearly. So what I do is first thing in the morning when I get up very, very early, I have at least 20 ounces of water. I drink bottled water. I actually like to drink the alkaline water, but I think this is, a matter of choice. If you have great water and you have one of those filtering systems, that's amazing also. I'm also a big believer in hot water with lemon. I think it's extraordinarily detoxifying and flushes things out of your system, gets you up and rolling. So in order to meet that 100 ounces per day, the second pretty much I get up, 20 ounces, this wakes you up, it gets you going, it gets hydration from the very start. So that building upon what we talked about yesterday, when you're still in your intermittent fasting zone and you're having that great morning sex, you also get up and you hydrate before you have this great morning sex. So this is what makes me uniquely different from many other people. There are a lot of things out there, but it's the combination of my system and the process I use that is unique. I take many components from the best practices as far as health and wellness, the best practices of Mind Feed, of Breakthrough, and I combine all of these into a system that I use every single day. And am I a perfect person? Absolutely not. Am I the most wealthy person at this point in time? I think that absolutely I'm not. However, I've had some tremendous breakthroughs and successes on my own. And just to give you a little background, part of the reason I do this is I had friends and family, and I was very well known at one time in alternative healing circles, and they actually asked me to publish books about what I did, my system and my processes, what I ate, what I did. So that is why I did that. And I'm just very delighted to finally share what I do with you in the hopes that it will break you through to another level. So this is a system, but it is also a process. So talking about that a little bit, if you cannot really drink 20 ounces of water when you first get up, this might seem really difficult to people that don't like drinking water, then I would encourage you to drink 8 ounces. So that's where the process is. The process is taking action and doing something toward the ultimate goal of getting there. And I encourage you to be accountable on this. Keep a journal, write it down, what you actually did. So, how many of these things that I'm encouraging you to do did you actually do in one day, in 1 week, in 1 month? And also, I think it's very important for you to write down how you felt physically, mentally, emotionally. What breakthroughs did you have in your life to make your life more profitable, expand your business, feel better physically? Because these actions that I am speaking to you about, although most of them may seem health related, they're actually very much a part of peak performance and being able to sustain the type of schedule and stamina. For instance, a JT Fox. And I might bring JT up right now briefly because, as many of you know, JT follows a gluten-free diet. He does not have soda. There are several things that he does to maintain his health that allow him to continue to be the world's #1 business and wealth coach, expand into other countries, and simply lead an extraordinary life full of legacy and be the best version of himself. So these things do work. So back to hydration. So we have 20 ounces. So after you get up and get going a little bit, I encourage you to have another 20 ounces by 9 o'clock no later than 9 o'clock in the morning. So now we're at 40 ounces. By noon, another 20 ounces. I would suggest at first water. I also drink the kombachas. I think that's totally acceptable to count kombucha as part of your hydration. What that is it's a drink. You can find it many places. I like the GTS brand. You can get at Whole Foods, organic and raw, several flavors, non-alcoholic, and some do have alcohol. But they have enzymes and probiotics. Also, as I've mentioned before, bone broth is absolutely totally acceptable, gives you some protein. The Kavitas are also probiotic drinks. Some of them have a little more sugar than others, but everything I mention here is low sugar, low carbohydrate. So I am not an advocate of having orange juice, for instance, way too much sugar. So I do mention a few things, but these things all fall within the realm of a drink that would be a probiotic. And you notice I've not mentioned shakes, protein shakes, or anything like that. I don't include that in the concept of hydration. I'm actually talking about liquids now. So what I do in the morning, many times when I'm in my intermittent fasting zone, is I have an organic and raw kombucha, 16 ounces. I have 20 ounces of water. Then I also, a lot of times, have another 16 ounces of bone broth before, 11 or noon. And actually, probably more like 40 ounces of bottled water, as I said, in general, alkaline waters. So now we're at 40 ounces of water, 16 ounces of kombucha. That's 56 ounces, plus another 16 ounces of bone broth. So now we're at 72 ounces. So we've actually, before noon, met most of our requirement for hydration just through those few things. Another one of my favorites is matcha tea. It's well known in Japan. They are connoisseurs of matcha tea. I would encourage you to go to a Japanese market. Check it out. You want to get the organic matcha tea from Japan without, the creamer and all that. They make that kind of product too, but just a straight matcha tea. And it's wonderful. It has a lot of antioxidants. And many Japanese people believe that it really keeps their health strong, even though a lot of them are smokers, and it's very much part of the Japanese culture. I find it very invigorating. Matcha tea is wonderful, so I would encourage 8 ounces of that also. Another one of my favorites is one of my own recipes, raw cacao drink, basically like a hot chocolate. And so what I do is I take a teaspoon of raw cacao, which you can get at many health food stores. Put that in 8 ounces of hot water and, mix it up. Maybe use a little bit of a sweetener. There's big debates on which sweetener to use. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm not an advocate of course, of putting sugar in it. But if you like it a little bit sweet, some type of sweetener that you like to use, and maybe a little bit of whipped cream with no sugar, just a little bit on top, because I'm a person, I believe in enjoying the experience. So this is a beautiful hot chocolate drink that is loaded with antioxidants. It is low sugar, low carb, and very chocolatey and very satisfying. So this is like a fun drink to have later on in the day. So I hope that, and so to finish out, we have the other 30 ounces of hydration of water toward the end of the day, afternoon. So I would encourage you toward the late afternoon to have at least another 16 ounces, and then have another 16 ounces of water or chamomile tea, some combination, before you go to bed. So there you have it. You have your 100 ounces of hydration per day. You notice that did not include any sodas. It did not include any juices at all. It just included some samples of how to hydrate yourself without even getting into sugar, carbohydrates, although the kombuchas have low carbohydrates, but I definitely am not a proponent when we're talking about hydration of anything that would have a lot of sugar in it or carbohydrates. And we're just strictly now focusing on what is going to take your body through the day and allow you to have this stamina, this peak performance, and be able to do all these things in the system that I suggest. So the homework for today, breakthrough workout, is I want you to shoot for 100 ounces of hydration. If you're not already doing that, if you're doing that, congratulations, that's great. If you're not doing it early in the day, I encourage you to shift the timing of your hydration so that you get more of that in during the early part of the day, because that will allow you to maintain your stamina, especially in your intermittent fasting zone. It's very important to hydrate in order not to get fatigued and grumpy and all these things. So I ask you, keep a journal. Write this down. Try some of these things that I suggest. They're absolutely wonderful. Try your own combination. There's nothing saying that if you're hungry and you're in an intermittent fasting zone, have a little more bone broth. It can be very satisfying to you and very filling. Or experiment around on different days. That's the beauty of what I'm saying. It's a system, but it's a process that allows you to tweak this to your own body. So keep your journal, try your different hydration, and have a wonderful, amazing day. Until tomorrow, Sefela Johnson, Day 4 Breakthrough Workout. See you later. Bye.